Institutional DeFi is probably going to be one of the biggest things to ever happen to the XRP Ledger, because it's not just about DeFi itself, it's about what these institutional players will be doing when they get their hands on decentralized finance. When we really think about this, what could this lead to? Well, institutional DeFi could lead to a ton of use cases really starting to heat up on the XRP Ledger. But also, you got to think about it like this. These are use cases not just pioneered by like retail. No, these are the big players, the ones that have trillions of dollars. So this is going to lead to so much value and so much volume really kind of flowing onto the XRP Ledger, which will impact the underlying gas token. And in this case, yes, it is XRP. Now, I want to go in depth on this because I do want to go over a few things that we did here at, of course, XRP Apex, and David Schwarz, Ripple CTO, did highlight exactly what's coming. So with that being said, sit back, relax, and if you guys do want to get exclusive content and free information as well, join the free Discord down in the description below. There's also a paid section that is 100% extremely valuable, and it does include updates for myself, also Tokenizer, JD, and a full team as well. So if you guys are more interested into that side, definitely join up the free Discord and then upgrade access as well. But with that being said, let's dive on in and let's actually focus on a few things. Number one, let's go back to February of this year where we did see institutional DeFi on the XRP Ledger, what's live and what's next. Now, this did outline, of course, RWAs, stablecoins, things like that. But they were talking a little bit about how they are going to be expanding the infrastructure around the XRP Ledger to enable institutional DeFi at scale. Obviously, XRP already has a DEX built into it. In fact, it was like one of the first ones in the space to actually have a built-in DEX, and really the first one to have tokenization enabled. And we're talking about going all the way back to 2012. But on top of this, right, we already know that the AMM is in place. There's key use cases around this: institutional liquidity provisioning, for an example, tokenized RWA trading, arbitrage, and cross-chain swaps as well. And then, of course, we look at the additional use cases that are eventually going to be coming to the XRP Ledger. Now, they did give us an update on quarter two, which is token escrow, account permissions, batch transactions, permission DEX. And then quarter three is single asset vault, lending protocol, and MPT DEX integration. Now, the main thing that I'm actually looking at here is MPT DEX integration and lending protocol. Those are going to be the two major ones to really kind of get launched on the XRP Ledger this year, which I'm actually very, very excited about. And in terms of that, right, we look at multi-purpose tokens, the MPT standard, right? This is a new standard for tokenized assets. To solve all of the problems regarding tokenization, or tokenized assets, I should say, right, we need to make sure that there is data requirements built into this. That's where MPT actually comes into play. This is where we could see all of that metadata attached directly to these tokens. This is going to truly unlock tokenization at scale. And in fact, they give us key use cases: tokenized bonds and also grade asset management. This is going to be huge. And then, of course, the lending protocol. This is where we will start to see, really, I would say, passive income opportunities rise up, as well as institutional lending markets. Banks, fintechs, and funds can tokenize and distribute loans on chain. This will lead to a massive amount on chain. And then, of course, we have stablecoin and RWA integration as well, lending backed by tokenized assets and compliance-focused stablecoins. And of course, yes, you could probably already think RLUSD will be involved with that. So there's definitely a lot coming to the XRP Ledger, and I do think that we should be focused on this. Now, of course, we did hear a lot more at XRP Apex, which I do want to go over, but I also want to talk a little bit about the institutional DeFi portal. So this is in a wait list right now. We actually don't know too much information on this. All we know is that this is on Ripple's website, and we have institutional DeFi portal in development, a platform to help financial institutions bring their businesses on chain, powered by both the XRP Ledger and XRP itself. This is extremely bullish because this is being promoted by Ripple, and it's basically a welcome mat, if you will, from Ripple for institutional players to actually come over to the XRP Ledger and bring their entire business on chain. We can actually see the use cases here: tokenize assets, enable XRP deposits, and allow XRP trading as well. And then, of course, we have effortless asset issuance, which is going to be huge for, minting and issuing out assets. This could be, stablecoins, tokenized things of value, anything. And we also have ready for a production deployment. Here's where we have that EVM to XRP Ledger converter tools and things like that. But then also we have, of course, build or partner, access Ripple's network of trusted infrastructure partners to support you on your institutional DeFi journey. And again, this is all connected back to the XRP Ledger and XRP. This is extremely bullish. I can't wait to see more information on this, but I do suspect that this is going to happen once we really kind of start to see, more announcements coming from, of course, Ripple themselves. Now, I do want to go over a few things. Number one, USDC is now live on the XRP Ledger. This is not new, right? We know that this got announced on the 12th. And this is huge because this is actually going to accelerate DeFi and institutional adoption on the XRP Ledger. We have the announcement over here from Circle. I did go over this recently. With the launch of native USDC on the XRP Ledger, developers, institutions, and users gain the support of the world's largest regulated stablecoin. Enterprise B2B payments use USDC for global money movement and improve capital efficiency across borders. DeFi liquidity provisioning: USDC can be used by market makers to bootstrap liquidity for token pairs and FX flows. Financial infrastructure apps, custodians, wallets, and fintech platforms can integrate USDC to offer faster, more transparent settlement options. USDC is a trusted digital dollar powering innovation in payments, DeFi, and global finance. With the addition of the XRP Ledger, USDC is now supported natively on 22 blockchains. So this is huge. Now, to really kind of build upon this, I do want to go over to this, which is all of the stablecoins that are currently live on the XRP Ledger. There is 5 of them, with more to actually launch. This is all enabling major amounts of growth and use cases to get completely built out on the XRP Ledger. Because just like USDC is enabling and accelerating DeFi and institutional adoption, all of these stablecoins also unlock key markets: FX markets, DeFi markets, institutional adoption. And it just builds out that FX market, which is a $7.5 trillion per day market. Now, let's actually dive on into what David Schwarz was telling us. Now, the first one is a question, actually. This is 58 seconds. I do also have the other video loaded up. David Schwarz answering a question about what he believes will drive the value of XRP in the next few years. From Apex 2024, if anyone questions why XRP, show them this. XRP has a privileged position on the XRP Ledger. Check this out.
But our first question is around, really what's going to be driving value to XRP, particularly kind of around the cross-border and sort of more like enterprise payments and financial use cases.
Yeah, so you guys can all see the question on the screen. I think the big thing that's gonna keep XRP like in its central role is its privileged place on the XRP Ledger. XRP is the only token that you can pay transaction fees in. It's the only token that every account can receive. The payment engine during pathfinding always looks for XRP liquidity first, and XRP is auto-bridged through the order book, so XRP liquidity is sort of preferentially taken over to other types of liquidity just from order crossing. So XRP is always going to have a special place as a sort of liquidity tool on the XRP Ledger.
So obviously, yes, XRP is the biggest key to unlocking the XRP Ledger. So now that we're starting to see accelerated growth around institutional DeFi initiatives, and we're starting to see more stablecoin initiatives launching on the XRP Ledger as well, and we also know that the institutional DeFi portal is coming, which is going to enable businesses to move on chain on the XRP Ledger powered by XRP. Just imagine how big XRP is going to be, in, we'll just say 12 months, right? 12 months from now, XRP at least 5 times bigger. And I'm not just talking about the price action. I'm talking about the actual network, the ecosystem, the value and the volume moving on it. And then also, of course, David Schwarz did tell us just at XRP Apex 2025, big shout out to John Squire for this, institutional adoption of the XRP Ledger is gaining momentum, delivering real financial solutions directly on chain. XRP Ledger is establishing itself as the top choice for the institutional sector. Check it out.
At the XRP Ledger, the growth is real. It shows a shift and scale over more than 13 years. 3.3 billion transactions processed. 6 million plus active wallets, secured by more than 800 nodes and more than 180 independent validators. So proven track record of reliability and decentralization. But this is not, sorry. I'm so sorry. I switched slides too early. I apologize. So this is a shift that we're seeing. Institutions are moving from pilots into production. Yesterday, we had the announcement of digital commercial paper live on XRPL. Real assets are coming on chain. Commercial paper, treasuries, money market funds, stablecoins. All of these things are happening today on the XRP Ledger. And this isn't box checking. This isn't another DeFi fad. This is a massive, massive opportunity. These institutions are adopting layer 1 blockchains because they see the advantages of the decentralization and the governance. These institutions will be innovation accelerators. They don't own the XRP Ledger. They don't want to run the XRP Ledger. They want to participate on an open blockchain. The trustworthy infrastructure brings more building blocks to more developers. The best example of this that we can all see clearly is stablecoins. There is not a more institutional product than stablecoins in existence. They're launched by institutions. Their direct customers are institutions. But we've seen billions of dollars of DeFi impact from these stablecoins. These stablecoins are used for collateral, for payment, for loans, in trustless ecosystems on public layer 1s. Institutional products provide the tools for developers to build on top. And the XRP Ledger is evolving to support these real institutional financial use cases without losing its core values. The whole point is to provide tools that will enable the next wave of retail mass adoption DeFi. Joining me on stage is Jazzy Cooper, RippleX's head of product, driving our institutional DeFi vision. Jazzy?
Thanks, David. It's true, we're at a turning point. Public chains were once seen as too risky for institutions, and now it's too risky for institutions not to integrate them with their business. Institutions have truly embraced blockchain and are finally launching real products on public chains, including the XRP Ledger. And XRPL is evolving to meet that demand. Over the past year, a number of key features have gone live, ranging from the automated market maker to decentralized identity, price oracles, and clawback. And we have others that are still in voting: credentials, MPTs, permission domains. These features are foundational infrastructure for building secure, transparent, and scalable financial products. And we're not just modernizing finance, we're making it more inclusive, accessible, and programmable. And we're finally seeing real traction. XRPL is supporting real-world applications ranging from payments to yield generation, all decentralized and at scale. Let's take a look at what this growth looks like on-chain. David?
I've shown this slide at every Apex, twice at this one, apparently. But the momentum is real. This shows how the XRP Ledger has scaled for more than 30.
So yeah, I mean, listen, when we think about what's coming to the XRP Ledger and XRP over the coming weeks and months ahead, you know, we are going to see so much money unlocked and flooding into the XRP Ledger on chain. I mean, think about it like this, right? Tokenization is not slowing down. Stablecoin initiatives are not slowing down. Everything is accelerating. The momentum is picking up. We are now ushering into the institutional age of crypto, where these big banks, these big fintechs, you name it, they want to be on chain. They want to get behind this. They see where this is headed. We now have governments talking about stablecoin initiatives, talking about digital assets, unlocking the digital asset market. So it's only a matter of time now until we start to see these, major players moving on chain, selecting key players that have, an all-in-one infrastructure built for them. And of course, yes, we think about Ripple immediately, the institutional powerhouse that's always been, an institutional powerhouse for years now. Scold it for once being, too buddy with institutions. Now today, they are basically the institution trophy, right? Everyone is now praising them because They were ahead of the game. This is exactly why playing the long game is always going to win. So when it comes to Ripple having all of these massive institutional players tied to them, guess what ends up happening? We go back to the institutional DeFi portal. These are going to be the institutional players that are going to get force-fed onto the XRP ledger and through XRP, which is going to impact XRP in a massive positive way through all of the volume and the value flooded through the actual network. I'm very excited about the future. I think everyone that holds XRP should also be very excited about what's to come. And with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, Nick, thanks for watching. Peace out.